Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Let's get back to Iraq. There's a couple of things happen, and again, the Dinar community is chitter-chattering about a rate change, and I think there might be some misinterpretation, but let's go over the article just to make sure. So, before we get started, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button because it helps us get past the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you're not a subscriber, please do so because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate that. A quick disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, an accountant, nor an attorney. The advice that I give is freely and of my own opinion. Hey folks, just a quick reminder that back in 2008 and 9, a lot of people lost all of their retirement savings in their 401ks and IRAs because they did not own gold and silver. Yeah, that's right, gold and silver protects you from a market crash. So do yourself a favor, protect your retirement by purchasing gold and silver. You can go to moneymetals.com, reach out to them, and they will help you set yourself up to protect you and your family from having to start all over from scratch. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they will send along with your order a free half ounce of silver. So folks, do yourself a favor, head on over to moneymetals.com and protect you and your family from a market crash, as well as inflation. So head on over there now. You can actually own physical gold and silver. Go to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. And don't forget to use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y. If you spend more than $100, you will get a free half ounce of silver. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. And you guys know I have an alternative website where I post original content as well as other content that is banned from YouTube. It's $3 a month. All proceeds go to Finding Life's Purpose Foundation, and you have unlimited access. Be very careful of people out there trying to impersonate me. They're asking people to send them money. Don't fall for it. I will not ask you to go to WhatsApp, nor will I ask you to go to Telegram. And here's how you know if I'm the one responding to any of your comments. A person makes a comment. If I respond, you'll see a dark circle around my name. See that? From time to time, I will use material that is copywritten. Just so you know, I am exercising my fair use rights. And so I put this disclaimer on there just in case. So what is going on over there in Iraq? Well, the IMF Jordan's regional cooperation provides an opportunity for gradual economic recovery. I'm noticing that all of those countries in that region are reaching out to one another, working out trade deals, working out agreements to do business with one another. I like that because they're helping each other boost each other's economy. If they all work together, then they also can fight together if anybody starts harassing them, especially terrorists. At least that's the idea. So the director over there of the Middle East and Central Asia Department of the IMF pinned high hopes on Jordan's openness and regional cooperation with neighboring countries would contribute to providing a positive space for the economy to return to the stage of recovery. Says we look forward to regional cooperation with neighboring countries, Egypt, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and others, to return to activities and to provide additional positive space for the Jordanian economy to return to a gradual recovery. So do we, not just there, but all of them. They can help one another. They really can. So in response to the news asking them a question, they explained that the government has taken strict and effective measures to protect the lives of citizens and speed up the vaccination process against the RONA, which mitigated the effects of the pandemic on the economy. And it is expected the speed of recovery of the Jordanian economy is expected. Yeah, so whatever's happened to slow down this great reset, they obviously don't appear to be ready or in position to do what they had hoped to do, because they seem to be opening up economies everywhere, which is not what they wanted to do. That I know for sure. So the fact that they're doing it, unless they really want to open it up and then shut it down again, then open it up and shut it down. But things seem to be getting a little bit out of control as far as all the restrictions. People are starting to loosen them up everywhere. There's a couple of countries, as a matter of fact, who absolutely positively are not enforcing anything to do with the RONA. So as that continues to grow and protests are really starting to grow, I'm curious what direction they're going to go into. or if they're just going to shut the idea down altogether and just allow countries to open up. Despite the difficult economic conditions, to achieve economic stability and continue to carry out structural reforms in order to return to the desired economic recovery for the year. With regards to unemployment rates, he pointed out that the Jordan, like other countries in the world, suffer from a high unemployment rates due to the RONA, which exceeded 24%. Well, that's like that everywhere, because they're just not letting people go back to work. See, this economy was already crashing. It was well on its way of crashing long before this RONA. And now they're just going to use the RONA as an excuse, because this way then you don't have to worry about anybody being accountable for it. You could just say, hey, it was the RONA. That's pretty much what they're doing, is using it as an scapegoat. So just like other countries during the lockdown, the central bank over there in Jordan was good at, keeping things afloat, making sure, look, you see right here, it says during the pandemic, of pumping liquidity into the market and securing financing for small and medium enterprises, which worked to empower them and ensure their continuity. So their central banks did the same as ours. And by plan, all they did is put everybody else in debt. You see, we didn't have any say-so in what they were doing. And not only that, in case you guys haven't noticed, the profits for Big Pharma of 40 times its normal profit margin. I think they should put some of that back into the people. What do you guys think? So it looks good. Jordan's doing their thing to join in with the neighboring countries to rebuild their economies, working with other countries in the Middle East to try to do what they can to lower unemployment, to get more people off of government assistance and get them back to work. So Baghdad sends 67 million dinars to Erbil for this purpose, because they're nice and they're cool and they just wanted to hand out money. No, I'm just kidding. They're saying this is the 5th installment of the dues for the Kurdistan region in the amount of 67 million dinars. So we know they send this over there once a month. That was the agreement. Al-Kadhimi is still sitting in office for now. We'll find out what happens. But it says Al-Kadhimi's government takes 4 new decisions. So as I went through what these new decisions are, all of them are what's necessary. Changing the wording and the way things are written are important so that there's a more common understanding of what you're talking about. But when I got down to where are you at? So the first thing they have is amending paragraphs of the aforementioned decision to become the supervision and liaison of the executive management shall be in the General Secretary of the Council of Ministries. So all these are blah, 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 but where is the one I am looking for? Oh, here you go. Referring the implementation of schools to Chinese companies, Power China and Synnotes, based on the recommendation of the Central Committee for Review and Approval of Referral, and giving them an operating advance of no more than 10% in return for a letter of guarantee from an approved bank. So China making their way into Iraq, which we've seen them do in other places like Portugal and Indonesia and Africa, in which they basically just took those countries over. It looks to be little by little they're doing the same thing to other countries. Well, they're on the brink of crashing anyways. For those of you not paying attention, Evergrande is about to miss another payment. That'll be 1 month's worth of payments altogether. So the rest of the items on here are just procedural changes that they're making. The Dubai Expo is promising opportunity to invest in Iraq. Again, more countries investing into Iraq. But that's a good place, though, if you think about it. There's a lot of very rich people there. Hopefully they can get some money from them and invest into Iraq. We want the economy to recover as quickly as possible. The head of the Iraqi Private Bank Association said in the expo, it is important and promising opportunity to open the doors for investment in Iraq. Yeah, I'll agree with that, and I'm sure you guys do. The stronger the economy, obviously the stronger the currency. Amir, I guess it was, I was hosting this, did an interview in the news, and that he said the Iraq pavilion in the exhibition will show its visitors the civilization, heritage, and great success that Iraqis have achieved over the past and current years, noting that the central bank and the Association of Private Banks provide financial support through the Tamkeen Fund to establish the pavilion. The expo is an opportunity for the Iraqi and foreign businessmen to find investments inside the country and contribute to the development of its economy. The coming days will witness many big events to achieve the pavilion, to activate the pavilion through coordination with the committee responsible for the pavilion. More growth opportunity is always good. Demonstrators who reject the election set up sit-in tents near the green zone. It says dozens of people who protested early this morning condemned the election results in front of the green zone, which included sensitive government departments, the Iraqi parliament building, in addition to the embassies of the Western countries. The Basra government, the far south of Iraq, dozens of protesters set up marquee for a sit in front of the Office of Electoral Commissions in the province. Since the Independent High Commission announced the results of the legislative election that took place this October, Shiite parties that own armed factions expressed their rejections of these results and began to escalate and mobilize their audience to take to the streets, which is what actually happened with the launch of the demonstration in the region in the city in Iraq. Well, this is what you don't want to see happen. So hopefully outside investors aren't going to feel secure about investing in the country if protesters start rising up, tearing down things again. We don't want to see that happen. Hopefully calmer heads definitely will prevail. The Arab Monetary Fund, in cooperation with the International Monetary Fund's Center for Economic and Finance in the Middle East, organized a course on exchange rate policy. So here's the one where people are asking about. So during this conference, there were some courses people went in to learn on different subjects. One of them had to do with the exchange rate policies. Before I get into this article, I've talked about this before, the Arab Monetary Fund and the 23 nations that are signed on with them. These countries were having trouble with trade amongst each other due to the trade agreements that they had with other nations. And besides that, there was an issue with the exchange rates. Some currencies were way more valuable than others, causing huge trade deficits, which really was unfair because the countries, some of their currencies are low because they're under some type of restriction, such as Iraq. One of the things they talked about doing is creating, or they have created, what's known as the Arab Accounting Dinar, which is just a currency that only those people who are members of the Arab Monetary Fund can use to do trade with one another. But because of the big difference in values of currency, it was causing issues. So I know that's something they talked about addressing, which is another positive sign for those hanging on to the dinar. It says this morning, the exchange rate policy course organized by the Institute for Training and Capacity Building at the Arab Monetary Fund in cooperation with the International Monetary Fund for Economics and Finance in the Middle East. It said on this occasion, the speech of His Excellency, the Director General and Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Arab Monetary Fund stated. So he's addressing the crowd that was there to take the course. It says, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the opening of the Exchange Rate Policy course held by the Institute for Training and Capacity Building at the Arab Monetary Fund in cooperation with the IMF. Hoping that you will seize this opportunity and benefit from the topics of course. Achieving economic and financial stability is one of the most important economic goals in all countries. So macroeconomic policies are unique in large areas, especially those policies that aim to achieve stability. The course also highlights the differentiation of macroeconomics policies related to the different exchange rate regimes, the choice of exchange rate regime, and the most important challenges facing exchange rate policy and developing and emerging market economies. The exchange rate policy is one of the most important policies adopted by the countries. Look, I don't want to read this all word for word, but people thought this meant that the rate change was going to happen. And so as you go through it, again, every time an article talks about a rate change, that does not mean that they are telling you a rate change is coming. I can share with you that I've read a lot of news articles and I've been to the website of the Arab Monetary Fund, and we know what their overall goal is. You can go over to their website and read what their mission is. Their mission is to enhance each other's countries and work with one another in trade and in business. The issue was, one of them anyways, was the difference in currency exchange rates, causing huge problems for those who have lesser valued currencies. So they were working on doing something about that. So right here in this course, they're talking about what it is that needs to be achieved so they could do what they can to increase business with one another, but also help strengthen the economies of their countries. Now, I understand that not all currencies are going to be exactly the same in value, but at least they can help each other out, strengthen their economies, and increase the value of their currency so it's as close as possible. It says your course is rich in topics and related to many important topics as a different type of exchange rate strategy and arrangement, and their capabilities with the existing economic policy will be reviewed. The course will focus on the following main themes: fundamentals of analyzing different exchange rate systems, how to read international currency market indicators and exchange rates, assessing the adequacy of foreign exchange reserves using traditional and new indicators, the relationship between the exchange rate policy and macroeconomic policies, basic data for the transition from the fixed to a flexible exchange rate, establish an early warning system for currency crisis. So the courses are meant to help get everybody on the same page and to do what they can to strengthen their economy, but especially their local currency. Iraq's port companies participated in Dubai's International Expo, which is held with participation of hundreds of international companies. Yeah, we definitely want the ports to get open, but the one I'm looking forward to, I know they're talking about rebuilding it, and I'm not sure if they finished or if they even started, to be quite honest with you, is the one between Saudi Arabia and Iraq. That is a huge port that used to cover a lot of business that was going in and out of there, and I know that would be a huge boom for the Middle East altogether, including Iraq. So like any other expos, all this is businesses coming in, countries coming in, talking about what they could do to help one another out. I see that the UAE is there as well. Nice to see all these countries working with one another like they should. So right now we seem to be in some semi-type of holding pattern because we're waiting to see if at all Al-Kadhimi is replaced. I'm hoping he remains there and continues to push his policies because he's doing a great job. We know right now they're starting to put together a list of people they want to nominate for the different positions. Until then, we're just kind of like gliding along here. It's still nice to see the countries over there in the Middle East working with one another to work on trade and strengthening each other's economies. That's awesome to see. All right, you guys, so it looks good. Give a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, you know the deal. That's it for now. I'm out.